good morning everyone. Laura Reich here with laurareich.com, and I just wanted to go over a few ways that we can repurpose content that we've already created. So I've had a couple people come to me and be like, hey Laura, I hear you talking about this repurposing thing. You know, what is it and what do I do and why do I care? Okay, so first off, let's talk about repurposing your content and why you should repurpose your content. So, you know, when you post content on social media, your blog, online in general, you're going to reach a certain audience at that point in time. So if you repurpose your content, you're actually going to be reaching a new audience, and you will be able to reformat that content so that you can reach them where they're most available and ready to receive that information. And so you can potentially reach tons of new audience by repurposing your content. You can quote unquote push the dust off of old content. You can go through and you may think like, oh my gosh, this happened so long ago, but it's relevant today and what I just went through. And so maybe I'm gonna write a little bit more of a personal feel about how, yeah, I wrote this 6 months ago, but now today, look at what happened and this is how I'm overcoming it, or look at this awesome outcome that I had. However you do it, I consider it just kind of pushing off the dust from that old content that you had and making it new so it's relevant again. And then why you should repurpose your content, because you are making the most of your time. I mean, you guys all know I have a newborn. I don't have a ton of time to get ready. I don't have a ton of time to be spending on myself anymore, which is totally fine. I love it, you guys, but you need to make the most of the time that you do have. So that is my 3 reasons for repurposing the content, but now let's jump into some of the reasons or some of the ways that maybe you didn't think of that you can repurpose your content. And so one of the ways that I think of right now is if you are already doing webinars, then you can be turning those into video tutorials. You can make this amazing webinar that got you tons of live viewers and attendees and tons of interaction and comment and just engagement, and it provides real value and it was a huge success. You can turn around and months later you can provide that as a video tutorial. You can turn that into an opt-in. However you want to repurpose that, people that didn't go to that live webinar and come visit your website 6 months later, 3 months later, maybe it's 14 days later, they wouldn't have known about that webinar. They wouldn't have gotten that juicy information that you provided them. So turn that into a opt-in, a freebie, or turn that into just a tutorial on your website. Maybe it's a way that you want to get people to stay on your website longer and show them that you actually provide real value on your website. You could turn it into that video tutorial into a blog and post it as a blog post to get people to stay on your website and watch and feel the value that you're providing to them from your site. You could turn old blog posts, number 2, you could turn old blog posts into guides, PDFs. Take that juicy content that you have and turn it into a PDF. Maybe, again, you make a funnel out of it. Maybe you just give it away for free. It's providing the real value to them that builds the trust that then turns them into your tribe and your followers and eventually your customers. So turning old blog posts, maybe you beef them up a little bit more, put a little bit more into them and turn it into a PDF. And then give that out. You can do that for repurposing. Again, the blog could be 4 years old, but it's still relevant today if you spruce it up and turn it into a PDF. Another thing is if you've done a PowerPoint presentation for a client, or you've done a PowerPoint presentation for a webinar, turn that into something for SlideShare. You can send it to Slide Deck. You can put it on SlideShare. You can put it on different websites that also draw that traffic in and draw the audience into you, and again start building the people that start to trust that you are providing real value to them. Another way that you can repurpose content is if you are creating a ton of visual content, and you have a ton of images in a blog post, maybe you have tons of pictures on your website, why not repurpose those for Pinterest? So put them on, if you have a blog post that's super image heavy, put them on Pinterest. Get that traffic back to your blog. Make sure if you're posting them on Pinterest though, we're following my Pinterest rules of staying with your keywords, making it engaging, keeping it a call to action. Pinterest is not a social media site, you guys, and if you have questions about that, definitely reach out to me, but Pinterest is not a social media site anymore. Don't think of it like that. If you are in that mind frame that Pinterest is social, you need to message me right now, and we will have a serious talk about how you are underutilizing one of the best platforms. Anyway, moving on. So visual content into a Pinterest board. You can also, if someone asks you to do an interview or a podcast with them, you can turn those podcasts into a blog post. You can turn them into just post back and provide them some traction and traffic, because then you're going to build that relationship with the person you did the interview and podcast for. You can send it out to Twitter. There are tons of different things that you can do with that. Another thing that you guys can do, you guys, is those interviews, those images, those blog posts, those video webinars. You can turn them into a newsletter. Either you do like a tip newsletter and you send it out and give them really juicy pieces of information, and then maybe again it leads to a different area or something, or just provide 100% value of tips and tricks, or this is an intro into a podcast that I did that's super awesome, or an interview with this amazing person and I want you to check it out. Think of ways that you can repurpose it. It's not always promotion as much as it is repurposing. You would obviously promote these right away when they happen, but 4, 5, 6 months later, maybe a year later, that content can still be relevant. So don't forget about it. Don't let it collect dust, and let's work on ways to repurpose. If you guys have other ideas, definitely let me know and type them in the chat, and I would love to discuss with you. Thanks.